Welcome to the River Field Studies Network. My name is James Vonish. I'm a professor of environmental studies at Virginia Commonwealth University. And in this short video, I'll introduce you to our program, our plans for the future, and how to get involved. The River Field Studies Network brings together those that are passionate about rivers, how they function, and the biological and cultural diversity they support. There are many ways to get involved. Whether you are an undergraduate looking to connect with the River Field Studies course in order to access the transformative learning environment that sparks a career in science, or a brand new professor with a heavy teaching load looking for media-rich, data-driven, inquiry-based lesson materials to support your STREAM Field Methods course that was suddenly pushed 100% online by a pandemic. Or maybe you're an early career instructor looking for a year-long professional development opportunity to create new open source content and to learn the ins and outs of teaching a river expedition style field course. Or maybe you're an experienced instructor that already teaches a river field course and you're looking to attract students from across the country to that course and to share your experience in teaching in river field settings with others. Or an emeritus professor with a life's worth of work and educational and data resources that you'd like to share with the world. In all of these cases, the River Field Studies Network has something to offer you. If you're interested, be sure to complete the feedback and interest survey linked at the end of this presentation. By River Field Studies, we mean active learning at rivers, scaffolded from an afternoon at the campus creek to a multi-week river expedition with course-embedded research. We think of our network as a community of practice, which is a group of people who share a concern or a passion for something that they do, and they learn how to do it better as they interact with each other regularly. A community of practice is defined by its community, that is, who cares about it, its domain, what they care about, and their practice, what they do about it. The domain of our community of practice, that is, what we care about, is enhancing undergraduate biology education and supporting healthy river ecosystems and communities through inclusive field-based education. Why rivers? Rivers support remarkable biodiversity and provide society with vital ecosystem services. Understanding the biology of river systems requires an appreciation of hydrology, geology, chemistry, and climate, but also the way that humans rely on and shape rivers. Thus, rivers are an ideal subject for an interdisciplinary approach to undergraduate biology education. Why focus on field studies? Well, there's strong evidence that field-based approaches can enhance learning outcomes in several STEM fields, including biology. And there's even recent evidence that field courses can help overcome achievement disparities of marginalized student populations. In addition, many of us would say that field experiences were an essential catalyst for us pursuing careers in science. It's where we became passionate about what we do. And studies bear this out, showing that field studies provide several important factors that can increase retention and career interest. And as a result, field studies could be an important tool for increasing the diversity of underrepresented groups in STEM fields. However, teaching in the field is not easy. There are many challenges to field courses, including time constraints, lack of interest, lack of resources, and issues associated with risk management, which may be a barrier to institutions, faculty, or students pursuing field studies. Field studies, like natural history courses, are thought to be in decline in biology. Due to the interdisciplinary nature of rivers and field education around rivers, the community in our community of practice includes a diverse lot, from students to scientists from a variety of disciplines to experts in education and community stakeholders. Based on original incubator ideas, input from experts in specific fields, in-person and online workshops, initial and follow-up survey results from the broader stakeholder community, and NSF guidelines, we have drafted a model for a 5-year River Field Studies Network project to increase access to and the quality of river field activities and courses. The project is framed around two major components. First, an annual cycle of training and lesson development. And second, the building out of the River Field Studies web portal/database. The River Field Studies Network year is bookended by the Winter All-Network Meeting and the Summer River Rendezvous, with fall and spring seasons being focused on training workshops and recruitment of new faculty and student cohorts. In the fall, an application process will be used to identify 8 to 10 new instructors. These instructors will participate in a year-long professional development program. This training program will support each instructor in developing one new lesson for the network. The instructors will conceive and develop the ideas for this lesson in the winter and spring, field test it during the faculty workshop component of the River Rendezvous in the summer, pilot it with students during the training overnight river course portion of the River Rendezvous. Then in the fall, they will polish up and revise these materials for publication as an open source online lesson, someplace like the CUBES network, or through the Journal of Visual Experiments publication outlet. Interested instructors will also receive peer mentoring in how to expand their lesson into a full field course. We will work with our recruitment partners to identify underrepresented instructors or instructors that are serving minority-serving institutions and instructors from local communities, and all participation costs will be covered by the grant. The Winter Gathering is a one-day virtual meeting that is open to all members of the network. At this gathering, the cohort that is just completing will present, instructor cohort will present new course materials that they've just developed, and will present any new field courses that have just been fledged. We will also make a call to collect and curate other materials for being published on the network website. It's also an opportunity for student presentations from the Summer River Rendezvous and to have featured speakers. An important component of the Winter Gathering is that the cohorts of the instructors will overlap so that the new cohort can see what the previous cohort has produced. This Winter Gathering will also serve as the network's business meeting. In the spring, we will offer a series of several online pedagogy workshops to help with the development of the lessons. These will be open to the entire network, although they will be focused on helping the new cohort of instructors. The general goals of our field lessons are to develop lessons that are applicable across rivers to facilitate comparisons across river systems, and that lessons would have the potential to support not only a field lesson, but with a lesson plan could be used to support a classroom-based, inquiry-based activity as well. In the spring, we'll have a second application process in order to identify a cohort of 10 students for the program. The student training will extend from spring through to the Winter Gathering. In the spring, they will receive training to help them prepare for the Summer River Rendezvous. At the Summer River Rendezvous, they will participate in the Training Overnight River Field course. In the field course, they will play the role of students, but they will also provide feedback to the instructors with respect to their module development. This is similar to the approach used for the National Center for Case Study Teaching in Science workshops, where new lessons are piloted in front of a live classroom audience, and that the students give feedback. Again, we will work with our recruitment partners to identify underrepresented minority students for the program. Costs of participation will be covered by the grant, and there will be an option for course credit. The first part of the Summer River Rendezvous is the faculty workshop. You might think of this as Instructor River Boot Camp. It's at the river base camp, and it will be 3 to 4 days long. During this period, the instructors will focus on lesson development. They'll receive peer mentoring in lesson development. They will field dress rehearsal their lessons, and there will also be filming of their lessons to support for media to support the online lessons. In addition, they will receive river field course training. They will develop and share river best management practices. They will be trained in river leave no trace practices, river logistics, and river safety and risk management procedures, and how to work with students in the field. The second half of the Summer River Rendezvous is the overnight training river course. So this is a mini river multi-day class. It includes the instructors, the students, and their trainers, about 25 people in total. We'll leave from River Base Camp and we'll spend 3 to 4 days traveling along the river, practicing river travel skills, as well as having the instructors practice their new lessons with the class. Instructors will teach the lessons and students will give feedback, and they will also be assessed on the student learning. The student feedback will inform the faculty, the instructors, to revise their lessons. This portion of the Summer Rendezvous will be also an opportunity for us to include some local community engagement. Back to the fall, where now the webinars and peer mentoring will focus on reviewing and revising the lessons that have been developed over the annual cycle and preparing them so that they can be published on our River Field Studies Network webpage, perhaps in the format of a CUBES lesson or, for example, an article in the Journal of Visual Experiments. A new year would bring a new focal river. Across the 5 years, we would hope to sample different rivers to represent different regions of the U.S., across a gradient of wilderness to urban rivers, and from headwater to coastal. Lessons and data sharing to facilitate the ability for courses to compare data collected by students across river systems using the same protocols. And open source media-rich lessons and shared data will enable us to leverage these field studies to enhance classroom learning. In summary, over the course of a 5-year grant cycle, the training cycle outcomes would include 5 flagship river short courses, 40 to 50 instructors trained, approximately 50 students trained, 40 to 50 media-rich lessons, which could be used to both support field-based learning as well as classroom or online learning, as well as 5 to 10 new field courses that would be incubated. All of the content that we would produce during the training cycle would either live on or be able to be accessed through our River Field Studies Network web portal. Content can be tagged to any specific river reach or partner university. In addition, it can pull in content hosted at other sites like YouTube or the CUBES network or articles published online. The web portal outcomes enable us to share RCN lessons and content and media, to share and pull in other compiled and curated river content. It's searchable, it's menu driven, it's geospatially referenced. You can profile instructors, you can profile courses, you can do that to promote access and to facilitate student exchange. You can advertise courses that are coming up. You can profile schools, partners, or community organizations. You can support a comparative river curriculum by having the content clearly comparable from one river system to the next. And it can facilitate recruitment and material adoption workshops that might be hosted at professional society meetings like ESA and the SFS, etc. I view this as a dynamic, living resource of all things, people, places, lessons, and data related to river field studies. There are many layers of a project such as this which need to be evaluated, from specific events, trips, and lessons to field courses to network workshops and materials, to the overall grant, to the network itself, and to the broader aims and visions. And so we're working closely with Knology, specifically Dr. Rupu Gupta, to develop an assessment plan to target strategically which areas we want to focus on for assessment. So returning full circle to the practice of our community of practice, the what is it we do together to increase access to and the quality of river field activities in order to support undergraduate biology education and to increase, strengthen river ecosystems and communities. Through these activities, we connect, train, support diverse students and faculty and stakeholders. We collect, curate, create, and disseminate immersive river-focused educational materials. We are incubating new field courses, and we're assessing our impacts as we go, both to determine our impact, but also to learn from what we're doing so that we can refine each year of the project. So how can you get involved? You could become a member. You could give us permission to share your contact information with other members. There'll be a poll at the end where you can indicate those. You can provide feedback to us, to this presentation, and to the survey to help us strengthen our proposal. The web page is already up and running in a beta version, so you can already share content to that. You could become a web portal editor so that you could go in and add content yourself to our map. So you could pick your favorite river reach and start to light it up with all your favorite educational content. We're also planning to pilot our annual training cycle this year, starting in the spring, going into a summer river rendezvous, and then into the fall, with hoping to produce our first cohort of lessons. And if you're interested in participating in that, let us know. You can also let us know if you'd have time to commit to participate in one of our planning groups: outreach, web, summer rendezvous planning, safety, education, etc. And if you have any strategies to help us be more inclusive and to engage a broader audience, we'd love to hear it. Thank you for your attention. Please now take a moment to complete this feedback and interest survey. And you can find out more about the River Field Studies Network by visiting the web portal or by contacting me directly at the email below.